Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I am a nutrition entrepreneur. But here's the catch. I have a full-time traditional dietitian job. My entrepreneurial endeavors are my side hustle. I've been making six figures through my job and side hustle doing things that I love. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the 50th episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, Group Programs. So in today's episode, I have interviewed Stephanie Clairmont. Stephanie is a registered dietitian and the CEO and strategic advisor for the Leverage Practice. So if you're not familiar with the Leverage Practice, they help professionals leverage their expertise to offer online programs in their practice. Now, Stephanie was on our 32nd episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. So you may remember Stephanie. She talked all about building a marketing system for your online business, and I'm so glad to have her back. So what you're going to be hearing is I actually interviewed her last week in the Dietitian Side Hustle Facebook group, but the content was so good I wanted to repurpose it into a podcast so that you could listen to it wherever you happen to be. So I hope that you guys enjoy the episode. So first off, can you tell everyone a little bit more about yourself and how you got to be an expert on group programs?
Sure. So I am a trained registered dietitian, and I have been for about 12 years. When I started in the profession, I really wanted to do population health and program planning, and I thought I was going to end up in public health, and I didn't. And very quickly, within the first year and a half, I started my own side hustle, my own practice. And what I learned very quickly, got thrown into business very quickly and didn't have a business coach, a mentor, nothing. There weren't online courses really in like 2009 or 2011, so just threw myself in and tested out all these different models and was like, what about this? And what about that? And then I niched over here and niched over there. But as I solidified my idea and as I got to be an expert in digestive health and IBS and FODMAPs, because that's where I started in 2011 and no one was doing that, a couple people around the world, I realized I was repeating myself all the time, right? And it really annoyed me. I don't know about you, but I like to be efficient and productive with my time. I didn't even have my kids then, but I was like, this feels really annoying for me. And so I started looking at, in 2012, 2013, group programming. I loved doing in-person group programming. And a lot of my clients love teaching. They love teaching groups, they love teaching classes. And so I love being a teacher. And so I started teaching, online in the professional development space in 2013. And then I brought my practice online in about 2014, 2015, when I had my first baby. So it's been 8 years that I've been educating online, and along the way studied online education and e-learning and read the books and the journal articles. I also have a master's in program planning. So that's cool, but it doesn't have to do with e-learning. So then I just continued to study it. I've built 15 group programs and run them online. I've put over 5,000 clients into programs for digestive health in the health field. And also I've put thousands of people into professional development programs and webinars and workshops and things like that. So really a lot. But then in addition to that, I've been teaching it for 5 years. So I get to, I've worked with over 200 clients, launch over 200 programs. And so that's really interesting to have that kind of data from health professionals and e-learning for health in our field clinically. So that's where I come from. That's how I've built up my knowledge and what I teach to my clients and where it all comes from.
Awesome. And I love how, this day and age, I think sometimes we forget how lucky we are, how we could reach anyone, anywhere. The technology is here. It's been here for a while, but there's so many things that we could do in ways that we might not have even thought possible before. Mm-hmm. So I love that, you've been doing this for the last 8 years and even for the last 5 years, helping over 200 people start their own online programs. I think that's phenomenal because there is so much opportunity out there. So let's kind of dive in a little bit more about group programs. Can you explain maybe a little more about what a group program actually looks like in a health practice?
Totally. And I think that this is the most challenging thing, is to visualize what you've learned in school and what you've seen other dietitians do in your internship, in your practice, in your areas. Like we're not don't have a lot of exposure to this. So let me just start by saying there's lots of different versions of an online group program. It can look like so many different things. And you may hear me say this, but I always say that my clients and programs are like little beautiful snowflakes. They all are a little bit different. And so a group program to me is just like what you're running in a practice or what we're running in person, which is we put together our knowledge, our expertise, our experience, research, best practices, and we put together a process or a program that we take clients through, whether it's for weight loss or healing your relationship with food or eating disorders or diabetes or digestive health or fertility or pain management, whatever it is. As the expert, you have your expertise, your training, you have the research, you have the best practices, and you have your own you-ness. And building out that framework or that process is what a program is. So an online program is just taking what we would have done in practice 10 years ago and running our 8-week program there or a 12-week program there or a 6-month program there and putting it on the internet. And that is it. That is simply it. Now, what you can use, Katie, is, this, we can use things like Zoom or Facebook groups, but we can use a lot of other technologies and platforms as they're coming up. There's no right answer when it comes to technology. I always say, keep it simple in the beginning, but what people really want is feedback and support. So you get to style your program with online education and teaching, whether it's live or recorded, and then supplement it with supportive services. So that would be potentially giving people feedback, answering questions, doing even one-to-ones in a hybrid style program, or bringing in guest experts. Some of our clients will bring in guest experts and partner with other allied health professionals to bring in exercise, fitness, yoga into their programs, or mental health, bringing in a psychotherapist to come in and coach on and counsel on different things. So the sky's the limit on how you structure the feedback, the support, that element. And that's the part I love. It's so exciting because it's not just videos on the internet. It's a program on the internet that really gets people results.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you said when you were first starting talking about how like you love teaching, but you found yourself repeating the same thing over and over and over again. And how can we take those basic things and put it in a way that we could reach lots of people by sharing it once, but then add that, hybrid, like you said, supplement with all these other things. And I also like how you mentioned that, group programs all look different. How I might do one might look different from how someone else might do them. It's just, I think that just comes back to, there's just so many different opportunities and ways that we can create things online. And I think ultimately our goal is all the same. We want to help more people and make more impact and use the knowledge and skills that we have to change more lives. And I think for me, that's where group programs really come into play, is that we can reach so many more people and really just fulfill that passion and desire we have to change lives in a completely different way, because we could reach so many more people online. And, I will say, just because I've done some group programs, I've been in group programs, and I think sometimes people worry, like, is it less than? And I will say, no, I actually think in some ways it's more than, because there's a lot of benefits to being able to reach people all over the world and have these communities. So this kind of ties in line with the next question I had for you, because I think a lot of people struggle to know how online education can support and be integrated into a traditional practice. So someone who's maybe seeing people brick and mortar, or they're just used to seeing clients, and how am I going to take what I've, been traditionally taught and incorporate into what you're talking about? So can you provide some insights on how that might work?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, what you shared about the benefits is the key for me, right? Like sometimes we don't see this. And what I saw was, I don't want to repeat myself anymore. I also was in a field where I lived, the maximum amount of money I could make on an annual salary was around $60,000. And I had a master's degree, and I was like, wow, really? This is crazy. And so when you do the math, you're like, I'd like a little more for my family. So for yourself, there's lots of benefits, but for the clients, a couple of things which will help you understand how to structure it into your practice. Number one is, I was in IBS, right? I was in digestive health, and my clients felt really alone and isolated and embarrassed, especially in 2011 when we didn't have poop emojis, and just poop wasn't as cool back then.
Yeah.
And so, it was hard. It was a harder time to market back then. But, what I found was, in bringing people together, I didn't really realize this, but in building communities obviously, but when you're doing it, you don't realize it, but building communities, people don't feel alone anymore. And there's such benefit in one, not feeling alone, two, being able to collaborate and connect with other people, and three, learning from other people's questions. So a very simple way to bring group programming into your private practice model is building a hybrid program. So you already are doing one-to-one. Potentially you have a 3-month program or 4-month program or 6-month program where you see your clients need to work with you for a certain duration of time to get results. Okay. So that's how we structure a timeline. How long do people need to work with you to get results? Probably somewhere between 3 and 6 months. Right. And so if you're already doing, let's say, 2 sessions a month, or a session every 2 weeks, or every week, every 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, whatever it is, we can build a hybrid model where you're still doing one-to-one, but you're adding in an element of group programming, meaning you have a group office hours once a week, or you have a community where you facilitate discussion or connection. Some of our clients will build facilitation in. So instead of like a Q&A with you, the expert, they'll build in facilitation of a group discussion. Depending on what topic you teach, you are going to have an idea of what would be really helpful for your people. So in still doing one-to-one, you can add this element of group support where you're bringing in community connection and further access to you. And that we call a hybrid model, where it has one-to-one and it has a group element. But most of our clients, Katie, I would say what they do is they still love doing one-to-one. And it's not that they want to cut out one-to-one. They want to have a small number of one-to-one patients in a week. Maybe one day a week feels really satisfying for them. And then the other days a week, they still want to make money. And so the group program comes in to add another revenue stream. Now, this revenue stream, long-term, I know you have a lot of side hustlers in here. So if you still have a job and you're doing a side hustle, for me, I had a part-time job 3 days a week. And then I literally worked all night and all weekend to build my business for 2 years. I didn't have kids back then. So I had that for 2 years, but in that other side of your business, whether you're working part-time or full-time, you can be taking some clients and also add a second revenue stream in with that group program. So you can have that revenue stream in of those one-to-ones and have that revenue stream in and add this program on. This has helped some of our clients leave their job to become full-time in their business from side hustlers. And it's also helped some of our clients to add this additional revenue stream on. If you do the math around growing your business, we estimate that the revenue stream can be anywhere from like $50,000 to $100,000 just in a group program, depending on how long and how much you charge for it, right? For some people, they want to run maybe 3 or 4 programs a year and make an extra 30, 40K a year in that revenue stream. For other people, they want to back out of one-to-one completely. So what they'll do in their practice, to give you like tangible, is that as they build out and grow the group program, they'll hire for the one-to-one, and then they'll have a team member, another dietitian on staff seeing the one-to-ones. They'll lean out of the one-to-ones, focus on the group program, and bring in this additional revenue stream and build it, as high as they want it to. Yeah. So some people will do both and have both, and other people will want to grow their business into multi-6 figures by having these 2 different products, and they hire for the other one. And then some of our clients, very few, this is me because I didn't love one-to-ones, but like we'll move completely away from one-to-one and replace their one-to-one revenue stream with a group program. So that is also an option. I'd say most people kind of land in between because they love doing the one-to-one still, and it can be profitable in a small amount, so it doesn't tire you and exhaust you and burn you out.
Yeah. And I loved how you shared all those different examples of how you could do it, because there really is a lot of potential on how you can do things.
There's so many ways to do it. And if you're listening to this podcast and you like podcasts, we have a podcast as well. It's called Leverage Practice Podcast. And I have my clients on all the time sharing their programs. And I always ask them, what's your program? What's included? How do you deliver it? Because those examples are so nice for people to hear. And some of our clients will run a small group program where they'll have, 8 to 10 people in that group call, and then open up multiple cohorts. So because they want to keep it small, other people will have larger cohorts, like 25 people. So it gets your wheels turning, and it's not just like, a course that's 8 weeks long, that people do on the internet. There's so many options. So that would be another resource if you're trying to think through how you'd like to do it.
Yeah. And I think that's a great idea to go to the Leverage Practice Podcast and just listen to all those different ideas that's out there. And, I love listening to podcasts, and for anyone who doesn't know this, you could actually listen to podcasts faster. So if you want to get through the content faster, I actually listen to all my podcasts double speed. So I'm used to hearing you talk really fast, Stephanie. So, so awesome. So, and I know you kind of touched on this, I think, throughout our whole conversation, but can you maybe share what are some of the very top benefits of shifting to group programs for dietitians?
Yeah. So everyone has different goals. So I love doing actionable, practical steps when you hear me talk. So what I would say to you firstly is to step back and allow yourself permission to truly identify what your goals are and your dreams are. We don't often do this, especially in dietetics. We're like, oh, maybe half day off a week. No. So step back and identify where you want to get to. I think that's really important. And that will help you structure your business model. So really financially acknowledge with yourself how much money you want to take home after expenses, after taxes, all of that stuff. How much money do you want to bring home for your family? And then also that lifestyle. How many days a week do you want to work? How many vacations do you want to take? For some of my clients, honestly, they want to move. Like we have some military families who need their brick and mortar practice to be a portable business that they can take around the country. So for some of my clients, that's their goal, escaping the physical location and being able to support people remotely as their partner takes them around America on their adventures. And so, I would step back and say, what is your goal for your lifestyle, travel, time off, money. And also very importantly, this was a goal of mine, was type of work. So I didn't want to do one-to-one patients 5 days a week. I never did. I started to do that because I started a business and I was like, this is the only business I can start, right? I don't understand. And I never wanted to do that, but I really wanted to help people and I loved educating. So that was a natural flow for me. So the type of work you want to do, map that out. And then here's how group programming can come in. One, it's a more profitable model. So you're going to be, let's say, running a program that's $1,000 a person. You put 10 people into that program. You make $10,000 over, let's call it 3 months, and you're running like a group call, once a week. The numbers, the math allows you to use your hours of client-facing time, less of that to make more money. So financially, you can create a scalable business to, let's say, just hit $100,000. That's a more profitable model. You don't need excessive amounts of staff. You don't need a ton of tools and technology. You don't need to rent a place, and so one is financially. Number two is also the number of, I would say, Katie, the expenses. So I know with the things that you share in this Facebook group, you always think about, business models and business revenue. It's not all your energy and time, right? How can we make money without killing ourselves? And so when you look at that model versus growing a brick and mortar practice and hiring on more dietitians and having a team of 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people, the profitability goes down really low. You're a manager, you have admin staff. It's a high cost of business. So you can grow $1 million business. Fantastic. Good for you. But you may still only be making, I don't know, 100K. And you have $1 million business. So the profitability is really nice in this model. And the other thing is you remove your client-facing time. So I always say you can remove about half of your client-facing time. So instead of 5 days a week, it's 2.5 days a week, potentially even less, because you're cutting out all that nutrition education that you're teaching over and over and over again 10 times a day. So you can reduce that client-facing time, which for me, I don't know about you, is really exhausting. I love people. I love teaching. I love face-to-face time. I do it every day, but it takes a lot of my energy that I need to go and have a nap after, or I need to go for a walk, or I need to end my day early when I bring my energy up so big. I coach, I counsel, I'm a fast talker, boom, 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 boom. And so that used to exhaust me. And so that's really beneficial if you're that kind of energetic, maybe even empath style of person that really shows up big and you're exhausted, is that you can still make that money, even if it's just replacing your salary, but with less of that big exhausting time. And then one of the biggest benefits for me is impact. So when I was a youngin', I wanted a book and a show, and I just wanted an empire of nutrition. I wanted to help the entire world and change everyone's lives. And I can't do that one-to-one. I have to do that with population health methods, which is teaching groups, which is educating in a larger scale. But you don't have to just do that speaking on stage all the time. You can also do it using the internet, which is, I think, things I was taught 12 years ago when I became a dietitian was population health, right? Public health. And how do we do that? We use the internet. We use some website tools. We make some videos. We create a group or a forum. We create use different deliverables within a program to do that. So for me and for many of the people I work with, and most of the people that follow me, it's also a big thing about impact and changing the world and sharing the message with everybody more than you can in just your office.
Yeah, awesome. Those are amazing benefits. And I imagine some people who are listening, maybe they've never heard of group programs. Maybe they've, this is completely new to them, or maybe they've heard of them and they're like, I don't know how this could work. But I have a feeling a lot of people, like, you've piqued their interest. They're like, oh, tell me more about this group program stuff. So while we're talking about a lot of concepts and how awesome group programs are, I think a lot of people are wondering, how do I actually do this? And the amazing thing is, guys, is that Stephanie has a free event coming up later in the month. So can you maybe fill everyone in on the 4-day workshop you're doing? Yeah. And I am going to drop my affiliate link as we're chatting.
Yeah. So we are running a 4-day live workshop. We haven't done one for a few months, and we probably won't do another one this year. So it's a full 4 days, Monday to Thursday, but we've kept it really short and succinct and clear. So it's just 20 minutes a day. Katie has the link here. So just sign up through Katie's link, and then you'll take the training in a video format in a Facebook group, but you can also listen. This is new, via podcasts. We're creating a private podcast feed only available if you sign up, and you can listen. I know you guys like to listen 20 minutes a day to the training. It comes with a workbook to walk you through it. And I'm going to teach you how to structure and sell your program. So we're going to get a little deeper into some of these deliverables, like what to include in modules and lessons and how to map it all out. We're going to talk about the different styles of programs. I already mentioned here, hybrid group program. How do I offer support? Do I use Zoom? What can I use in these different places? And on the 3rd day, we're going to talk about selling. So we're going to walk you through a 3-step selling mechanism, which is what we teach our clients and what we use, which is really simple, really easy, what we call authentic, genuine, non-sleazy selling. It's really about sharing in a way that feels comfortable for you and attracting the right people to your business, not forcing anyone to do anything. So that's what we'll do for those 3 days. The 4th day is a Q&A. So the top questions that we're getting asked. The other thing about the way that we run these live workshops, and again, I don't think we're going to do another one this year, but the way that we run them is with implementation support. So during that week, my team is available to get on a quick call with you, free call, no selling, just we call an implementation call, and just help you work it out. Or if you have any quick questions, like we're basically doing free coaching for the week to look at your curriculum or answer any questions you have about support or tools or technology. So that it's a really good use of your time. And like I said, really short each day, getting you just the facts and then helping you implement if you have questions. So that's going to be August 23rd to 26th, and it's at 11 a.m. Eastern every day, but the replay will be available immediately after.
That's awesome. I mean, this sounds like an amazing event, especially the piece where you're tying in like that free one-on-one time with your team. Like that is like invaluable. So I have the link below, and I hope that everyone is able to sign up for this. I think it's going to be really amazing. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on today, Stephanie, and talking with everyone. Where can people find you online if they want to, follow the Leverage Practice or learn more about what you're doing?
Yeah, definitely check out the podcast, Leverage Practice Podcast. Lots of really helpful trainings, and I always make it really practical and action oriented each week, and lots of really great examples with our guests that are on the show. You can just find me on Instagram at The Leverage Practice or on our website, theleveragepractice.com. You can learn more about the work we do with clients or other live events and resources that we have available to you. There's so much, Katie, I can talk about this for literally days and days and days. So this is just to get your brains thinking. I really want everyone to understand that it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to take you a year. You just have to look at the framework you're already teaching in your one-to-one and take that education component out and use technology to make that happen more seamlessly, and then integrate in whatever support you want, whether it's that one-to-one or whatever else. So if any questions are popping up for you, if you're interested in learning more, just find me anywhere you can find me, and I'm happy to chat with you more about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm sure we'll chat soon.
Okay.
Bye, Stephanie.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast, guys. Be sure to head on over to the Dietitian Side Hustle website at dietitiansidehustle.com and check out our coaching page to learn about all the ways that we can work together. Have an amazing day, and I'm so proud of you for taking the initiative to listen to this podcast. Now go out there and get it done. Bye, guys.